Hey, this is a tutorial for half-size Talos any percent. It's pretty simple. I start in uncapped. The reason I'm doing this tutorial is because I was actually grinding for a couple hours to try to get a good PB and I just couldn't pull it off. So I really think the strats are cool. It's hard. So let's just get to it. So starting from a new game, hold E, and then you press forward. You'll notice that you get shifted left because you kind of get stuck. If you hit forward on the first frame that is available, you actually don't get shifted to the left like that. See, it's almost like this position. So you actually save a couple frames if you could do that, but I don't think it really makes a difference. Anyway, so what you want to do is run forward, jump onto the rocks here, bump jump onto here, and then jump, jump, jump. We're going to skip ASOR because ASOR is bad. Now, because of this mine, we can't really use this wall here because it's sort of cycle dependent. So instead I use this tree here to jump over. You can actually do that on low FPS just fine. So you grab the jammer, jump over this wall here. Use the jammer to get on the green. You can actually jump from here onto the green as well, but using the jammer just happens to be faster. Jump into the sigil, jump over the wall, use this to get over the wall, and then run to the end. That's A1. A1's pretty simple. Going to 3, we do forward, backwards, and then right. So I start with forwards here. Give me a sec. Yeah, so there's a nice explosion there. We'll get there. So first, you run over here, sort of pause, keep it close, and then what you want to do is you want to bow out. I don't know how the better way to explain it other than to just show it a couple times. This has to do with the fact that the death barrier is actually really close. Like if you're on this side of the tree, you're dead. So you have to be on the left side of the tree going into this, right? But what you want to be is you want to be jumping from approximately here onto here because this is actually higher than the other section. Yeah. So what you sort of have to do is run out, bow out, and then jump over, and you get the sigil there. Next, we do right here. This is actually cycle based, so you have to wait. What I do is I like to stay up here, but you can do this just as effectively from down here. Once the mine blows up the turret over there, you jump, and then jump again. Hold on, let me see if I can show that in better detail. What I'm trying to do is get a kate jump so that I can jump over the gate, pretty much every single time. Because if you do sort of a standing jump over it, it doesn't really super ultra work. And even if you do a running jump, it's not as clean. But if you jump before, and then use the kate jump to get additional height, so like you're jumping after landing, you jump slightly higher. And that actually makes the difference on this gate here. If you end up staying on this fence, it actually makes it easier to just jump into it. Otherwise, you want to back up from the wall and then run into that and restart. There's a couple of ways to do this last one here. Let me make that more clear. The fastest way is probably you want to buffer jump off of this statue here somehow. I've never actually figured out the proper way to do it because it's actually so small. Out of bounds or onto the wall over here. Just as effective, you can probably just run from here onto the wall, but it's not as direct of a line. And finally, this is probably the easiest way to get on the wall because this is slightly higher than the rest of the texture. Regardless, you want to make it onto the wall here out of bounds. And then when you're running, you want to jump from approximately this rock here, and you're going to want to buffer off of this wall onto the sigil. If you do it too early, you actually jump straight clean over the wall, which sucks. So you don't want to do that. So you want to buffer off of. If you manage to miss and make it over, you can actually use the jammer, but it loses a bit of time. Anyways, restart checkpoint, and that's A3 done. Next we go to A2 because we want to unlock connector and get a couple other sigils. So to get guards, it's really easy. You just run to the wall and get the sigil. To get how, it's really easy. Run to the wall, buffer over the fence, and then get over. And then to get suicide mission is also really easy. You just take the back route. And that's A2. A2 is literally that simple. It's jumping over a couple of walls. From here you want to unlock the connector because we'll be using the connector in the ending here. You'll want to make it to A5 now. So you'll note that I actually pick a really weird path. It's because you can't see the columns. There's no like good point to run after. Since I know you can run from 3 to 2 directly, but you can't run from 2 to 5 directly without hitting a couple of columns, what I actually do is I run from 2 to 3 until I make it on the back plane and then run to 5. So like this back plane area here. Anyways, we need 1 sigil in 5, but it's actually probably one of the worst ones to get. So if possible, you want to jump from here onto here. Otherwise, you can totally just walk up to it onto here. Jump onto the wall over here. Sort of wall walk. The way I do it is I do it from here because it gives me a slight height advantage. You could probably get away with doing it from here as well. Regardless, you want to make it all the way over to the wall on here. Keep walking along the walls here to make it to the end. I bump jump off of the arch here because that's basically when you want to jump into this area. And then to make it onto this wall, you have to jump from this earlier patch onto the wall here. If you fall out of bounds, it's actually really hard to get back up, so you want to be careful here. And then jump over the wall onto the sigil here. That's it for A5. Next, we head into A7 to also get a single sigil. This is basically the alternative to deception, which is pretty garbage. So what you want to do is you want to jump onto the basically the mountain goat rock here. You can jump over this. It's not super hard, but it's a little bit precise. And then you'll want to go along here into the sigil. We do this over deception because deception is pretty much the worst thing ever. So instead of doing deception, in A6 we end up doing a single sigil, but it basically all washes out to be pretty bad anyway. So you want to go into the star section here, because we're getting bichromatic entanglement, by the way. The movement is a little bit precise. I should probably explain that. Okay, so I jump and then hit forward, because if you jump forward, it actually sort of, it doesn't quite, it kind of boosts you off. It's not fun. So I do jump forward and then jump forward and then jump forward, buffer jump onto this next area because this is too thin to maintain your fat ass. I don't know. Jump forward so that you don't get boosted off. Jump forward, jump forward, jump forward. So what I mean by jump forward is instead of holding jump forward or doing like forward jump like that, I actually hit jump and then forward because it means that you're not walking on any of these rocks, which can boost you off at any moment. It's kind of stupid. Anyway, we make it onto here. You want to be super careful and stay on the fence because we're just about out of bounds here. If you want to, you can make the worst jump in the world, which is super risky. So once you start hearing the static here, you can actually jump onto the fence to cut a corner, which I thought was necessary, but it turns out you can just walk the fence here. Regardless, once you make it to here, you grab the connector, and this is what you use uncapped for. Actually, you can do this capped, but uncapped is the only way you can get enough height to actually skip one of these. So jump the barrier, and you'll actually skip the next barrier, drop the connector, restart checkpoint. So that should be all of the sigils that we need. So pretty much the ending is exactly what you'd expect it to be, except tiny. So the buttons are a little bit hard to get here because their hitbox seems to be the same size, but they're way lower to the ground. So the one thing that sucks about this is that I haven't been able to achieve standard clip, and also we don't want to do the messenger ending. So you have to do Eternalize, which isn't fast necessarily. I'll show you how I do this. So normally what you do is you actually put it in the crack there. It actually turns out that because you can make this jump, it slightly wins over in speed to literally go out the back door, rather than placing it and trying to fiddle with the actual connector over there. I bet you if you like could run along this wall and go hoik, then it would probably be faster, but nobody's done that ever. So anyway, we now want to make it over to here. Due to the length, you can actually land on the fence down there, and this is sort of a luck thing. Yeah, so I landed on the wrong side of the fence. If you land on the right side of the fence, you actually get boosted to where you need to go. But we're basically aiming for the standard eternalize ending spot here. I switched to 30 because 30 is the perfect mix of not sucking and sucking. So then you get sort of 3 boosts into this back area here. I'm gonna drop off the connector while I can. Oh, brilliant. Give me a sec. So, okay, here's big thing number 1 while I have the chance to do so. If you get boosted out fully, you land in B star, or even worse, just the main area of B. So you can't save that. That's impossible to save. Really, this sort of ending section is why this category sucks. But we'll continue. So we do this, keep going, and you want to clip out just enough so that you're out of bounds here. You can't go as far as you normally would for like a jumpless eternalized ending. So I just make it to this double sort of chunk here. And I want to be backed up enough to have enough speed to do this. So then I aim for this corner here, and then I hold forward. And what this should do is line up the angle just right, but it doesn't all the time. It's very particular how this works. Also, I just flew by the side box. That's pretty sweet. For whatever reason, this ending seems to be RNG. I don't have a perfect setup for it, like I would with the other alternative to this, which would be jumpless. Let me see if I can actually get it with like more of a run up. I don't know. So you just run forward. This actually might be too sharp, and I might land in C. Okay, I don't know where. Holy fuck! Okay, this is bad because now what you have to do is run forward because the line. I'm actually behind the eternalized ending. I don't know how I did this. This is amazing. But what you want to do is run forward into eternalize, but I think doing this doesn't work. Yeah, okay. So normally what you want to do is you want to land out here, and then you can run sideways into here. And that'll get you into eternalize. And you're a fucking giant compared to everything. The door is open and everything works out. I haven't come up with a good way to do the... Wow. That's really pretty. Okay. Anyway, ignoring that, yeah. So you just do the standard ending here. You just sort of do the terminal. That's basically what my route is. You could probably achieve sub world record if you were actually good enough. As like an example of the pace that I've been on before, I've had a 149 leaving A5, which means that combined with these two, you probably get like a 245 coming out of the elevator there, which is ahead of pace of messenger ending by a fair bit. But the alternative is you can't do messenger ending because messenger ending requires some gobbledygook. So it might be possible to do sub current world record or sub 4 in half Talos, but I haven't been able to do it. Anyways, I don't know why I recorded this.